All right, guys. So welcome back. Let me extend that. That's weird. Welcome back to the channel. It is a rainy Friday here in Kansas City, and tomorrow is Streetcar Takeover Tulsa. I had full intentions of going to LS Fest this year, which LS Fest is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And had some issues with the Ranger when I was street driving it last. And I turned the boost up from the previous trip to the track. It was on 10 pounds. I had the 12.5 pound spring that I threw in it. And now I don't know if it's related. I'm gonna find out. That's all part of doing this, or at least that's all part of what I'm doing right now. But losing fuel pressure. Boost and fuel pressure are not going one-to-one with each other like they should with this regulator. As boost pressure increases, then your fuel pressure will increase 1 pound at a time following boost. Anything over base pressure. So if you got 43 pounds base, you run 10 pounds of boost, you should have 53 pounds of fuel pressure, and it should increase as boost increases as well. Well, the last time I drove it, it wasn't doing that. The truck has a 450 Walbro in it, and I just switched it to E85, so I partially think that maybe I'm running out of pump. So my next attempt is, I got a couple 525 pumps. I'm gonna throw a 525 Hellcat pump in this thing and see if that fixes it. Only downfall is I'm trying to go racing. I couldn't make it to LS Fest because I couldn't get this done in time because the weather has been terrible here. So now it's Friday. Streetcar Takeover in Tulsa is tomorrow. Tulsa's 4.5 hours from me. So I gotta try and get a fuel pump put in this truck. So that's what I'm starting on. I'm gonna get the bed liner out of this thing, and I'm gonna attempt to maybe just lift it up. I might try and use the cherry picker and hook into this and try and raise it up, and maybe I can get in far enough to pull the center unit out of it. I don't know if that's gonna work. But I'm gonna give it a shot. We'll see what happens. All right, so I got the bed liner pulled out of it. You can see there. Usually pulling the bed off trucks is kind of your best case to doing, say, a fuel pump. It sounds like it's more of a pain in the butt, but I tell you what, this thing's probably got half, if not 3/4 of a tank of fuel in it. I'm not dropping the tank. And to get the bed off one of these, it's probably, where's all my sockets? I'm losing my tools. I don't know what I did with them. Maybe this will work. But getting the bed off these is usually pretty easy if you got an extra set of hands. You usually just got bed bolts, that go through the bed into the frame, and then you'll have like a bulkhead connector at the back of the bed, which mine's back here. I don't know if you can see that. There's one bulkhead connector there, and then you just have to undo the fuel pump neck here, or the fuel pump, the fuel, good grief, I can't talk. The fuel filler neck you got to undo. That way it doesn't try and come up with the bed. But yeah, so we got that out. Oh, also, I'll probably throw in a couple clips here, but we did get the 8.8 put in it. So now we got disc brakes on the back, and then we got some finishing lines, brake lines. You kind of see them there. We're gonna cross the rear axle from caliper to caliper. Huge thanks to Josh over at Finishing Lines, because he did those like super fast, quick in a hurry, and then I didn't end up going racing and needing them as fast as I thought I did. So sorry for rushing you, Josh. But anyways, I gotta find some sockets, and then we're gonna get this bed loosened up, get all the bolts out of it. We'll get it taken off.
16 buff in the dark. It's a 16 buff in the dark. It's a 16.
All right, so and just like that, we got the pump switched out on the sending unit. Got it all buttoned back up. Good golly, you can't see that at all. Got it all buttoned back up. My little zip tie there, just because sometimes I don't trust those little plastic clips. These right here, I don't sometimes trust those. So I just put a couple zip ties around it, hold that in. But got it in, primed it, checked for leaks, no leaks. So now we can get the bed set back down on it. I planned on re-squaring up the bed because the bed was shifted a little one direction and it looked like the rear end set out further on one side. But I'm gonna get this set back down on here, and maybe I'll take it for a test drive, see what the feeling's like, because we got to get up here. I don't even know what time it is, but we got to get up and hopefully leave by like 7 or 8 a.m. Try and get down there and get set up and hopefully get some test passes in, and maybe we enter a class and see if we can, take down some of these fast cars with this little pickup truck. All right, guys. So SCT Tulsa didn't happen. Didn't get everything squared away in time, but we did get the pump changed out, as you saw there. So we're gonna do Streetcar Takeover St. Louis, which is the following week. With that being said, I wanted to change the front tire setup on the Ranger, mainly because it just looked goofy with those little bitty 24-inch tall radial tires on the front of it. So we're gonna take them to the tire shop, get them dismounted, and then I got a couple different tires I'm gonna try and put on, and hopefully they fit a little better, look a little nicer on the truck. But anyways, we're gonna run them up, drop them off, get them pulled off, and see what a new set of tires looks like on the truck. We're back out here, and it is the day before Streetcar Takeover St. Louis, and as you can see, I got the Ranger apart. So I've been driving it around a little bit, and I started smelling rear diff fluid. Well, when I got this rear end, I took it apart. I put new axle bearings, new axle seals in it. Well, for whatever reason, one of them is deciding to leak. So it's dripping diff fluid everywhere. So now I gotta pull this apart. It's about 8 o'clock. I gotta try and get it apart. Hopefully find an axle bearing and seal tonight to be able to get it back together to be on the road by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna get this rear cover off, get the axle clip and stuff out of it, and the bolt and all that. But anyways, we're gonna get this apart. We can try and get it fixed before the morning. I think we got the rear end fixed. Well, if we didn't get it fixed, we at least got it put back together. And so now it is the next day. We are loaded up, and I've been running around like crazy because I didn't get done messing with it until like 2 o'clock this morning, and then went to sleep, and then got up at like 8 because I can't wake up very good. But anyways, we are up. We're gonna throw some air in these slicks just to make sure we got enough air in the tires. But we're gonna go meet up with a couple of our friends in a couple towns over on our way to Streetcar Takeover St. Louis. So with that being said, I'm gonna get the air in these tires. We're gonna hit the road. St. Louis, here we come. So we're about an hour away from the racetrack, and we're stuck in traffic. Great. And we're stopped. So we made it to the track. We're gonna get both the trucks unloaded. Take our time, see if we can find the tech booth. Or old Racer X, he can park in front of my truck. Right here. Put her on the two-step bumper in, would you? Got enough fuel?
I got a quarter in that, and then I got 5 in that.
You're golden.
Should be alright.
Alright guys, so we're out here in the lanes. We're getting pulled up. We're gonna make our first test pass. See how this goes. Fingers crossed we don't go super fast and get kicked out, but fingers crossed we go fast enough. So still don't know what class I'm in. I don't know if I'm gonna do 11.0 index or 12.0 index. But if I do 11.0 index, I'm gonna have to slow it down and try and run 11.50 or slower. So we'll see. I don't know. But we're gonna make this first test pass and see how it goes. All right guys, here we go. We're gonna make our first pass. Well, 60 foot went 450 through the 330. I short shifted pretty much every gear. I went 12.0 at 85 out the quarter, but went 7.0 at 96. All right, so we're out here. We signed up for the 12.0 index class, so we're just waiting on our class to get called. And did pretty good the first pass. Went 7.0 through the 8th and then coasted a 12.0, and that's what we're trying to run is 12.0s. So we're just sitting here waiting. As soon as they call us up, we'll head up there and start our first round of eliminations. So we're sitting up here waiting on some of the other cars to show up. There's 18 in the 12.0 index class. There's only 10 of us up here. So we're gonna wait on a few more cars and they're gonna start sending us. So hopefully I'm just gonna run the truck through the 8th mile and I'm just gonna shut it down and pedal it out the back door, and hopefully we can go some rounds. If we don't, whatever, we'll try and do some test passes and just see what happens. All right, guys. So our second pass wasn't worth a shit. So now we're doing test and tune. We went out first round. We're gonna race this twin turbo OBS truck over here. right, guys. So our first two passes weren't very good. Well, the first pass was, but I only ran it out the 8th mile, and it coasted like a 12.0. Second pass was terrible. I was trying to play head games with the guy since I was running 12.0 index, and he ended up playing more head games and beat me out, and I went 11.70. But we turned it up a little bit, put a 12-pound spring in it, and raced this guy in this OBS truck. Made one pass on 12 pounds, and the truck went 1050.
Boom, 1058.
All right, so that was the end of our night, and we had a really good time with the Ranger out. The track and everything, like everything was just perfect last night. As far as like, you couldn't have picked a better night to be out racing. You know, it was cool. It was like 60 some degrees. The DA, when I made my last pass with the truck, which, you know, it was just awesome. So like I'm pretty sure we started the day at like 1200 DA, excuse me, which is better than any day I've had probably racing myself in the last couple years. But the last couple times we went to the track with the Ranger, the DA was like 3,000 foot. Last night when I made my last pass, DA was 283 foot. You can't beat that. I mean, you can if it's under sea level, but around here, it won't get much better than that. So the truck did really good. I didn't think it had a 1050 in it. Honestly, on the little on 370 millimeter, that little turbo puts in work. I mean, we had it on the dyno on pumpy 30 and 10 pounds, you know, and it made 450 something and 600 foot-pounds of torque on a Dynamite dyno. You know, Dynojet numbers would have put it somewhere in the 500 range, and you know, ballpark. But you know, I switched it over to E85. I didn't change any of the timing tables, so the timing is really light on it. But, you know, we started our first pass out, was a 7.0 through the 8th mile. Best 60 foot it ever did. I went a 168 60 foot. You can't see any of that on the video, but it went 7.0 at like 96 mile an hour, which I had turned it down. It was only making 7 pounds of boost, which makes sense for the mile an hour drop. But then we tried to enter the 12.0 class because there's no safety stuff. The truck doesn't have a roll bar or anything like that in it. So we had to, you know, try and slow the truck down to run a class that, you know, safety requirements we could meet, you know. But that was just a bad choice because it's too hard to slow, you know, for how fast I know the truck can be, even on low boost. It's too hard for me to try and slow it down a full second and a half. But I tried. I went out the first round. Guy beat me. He went like a 12.05, and I went a 11.77 or something. And I just don't trust bracket racers. But, you know, for the truck to go 1050s on this little 70 millimeter turbo, you know, the motor could make more, sure. But as far as a street truck goes, this thing's, you know, pretty rowdy on the street. The turbo lights fast. It drives good. You know, I could probably pull a trailer with this thing with as much torque as this thing makes. But yeah, you know, Dynojet numbers show this thing will make like 700 foot-pounds of torque. So it's just an awesome little truck. But she held her own, you know. But now we're gonna get her unloaded and put her back in street trim and start daily driving it again, you know, because that's what it is a daily driver street truck. But anyways, guys, Streetcar Takeover to me was a success. to be able to go out and run 1050s with this simple truck, this simple setup. I'm super pumped. You know, I might not look like it, but I'm like really excited about it, and it just is what it is. I'm stoked. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Keep following along. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.